This is going to be a look at some Jahmyr Gibbs film from the Lions' 21-16 win over the Giants in week 1 of the preseason. I think I'll show you 7 or 8 plays here. Some of them don't even involve Gibbs, but I'll mention a couple of things about him. He's looked at and talked about as a very versatile piece that Ben Johnson and the Lions will be able to use everywhere. In this film, you're really only going to see him lined up in the backfield at running back. However, you'll get one example on an 18-yard catch on a 3rd and 7 of Gibbs kind of adapting when the quarterback breaks contain or extends the play, and Gibbs being the guy who the quarterback, I think it's Sudfeld, finds. Actually, it's a very nice throw on that play. Additionally, you'll get a couple of run concepts, one of which from the end zone angle, you'll see where Gibbs is pretty patient and trying to set up his blocks as part of a zone scheme. So let's get to the film. His first run didn't obviously begin very well. I'm not going to spot shadow him at the beginning of each play, but look, this is an example of the Giants just having the right call here from their nickel front to stop the run. It's an F counter play, and you're normally on F counter. The guard is going to be kicking out the DN. So, for example, we're talking about this right guard pulling and then kicking out this DN. Well, that DN is going to slam down inside the gap. So what that happens is the tight ends ends up blocking him down, blocks him in, and when the guard pulls, the guard blocks him as well. Well, this blitzing nickel defender is totally free off the edge to stop Gibbs for a 3-yard gain. Really nothing he can do there. His first touch ends up being a loss of 3. I believe it was his first touch. Same possession, second possession, 3rd and 7. It's going to be a screen to the far side of the field, complete for 6 yards, and Gibbs is assigned to block on the end. There's a lot of talk about him being, very versatile, being used as a receiver, using the backfield, and I would agree with those things, even though we didn't see a ton of film of it here. Guy's going to be asked to block. Appears willing to do so, if you ask me, just based on the 2 times in this game I saw him asked to block where he attempted to do so. 4th and 1. Some level of miscommunication here between Gibbs and the quarterback. Quarterback is going to open to the right and play fake somewhere in about this area here. Meanwhile, Gibbs is going to the left. Sam Laporta is the targeted receiver on this 4th and 1, kind of like a play action concept. But you can see there's no real mesh between the quarterback and the running back because one of them went the wrong way. I'm not sure who it is. I would suspect that since the quarterback is right-handed, he's correct here in that he opened to his right, and they wouldn't want him opening to his left and then having to reset. It doesn't look like the protection is designed for him being the quarterback, to be 2 or 3 feet further this way. It looks like it's designed for him to be right back in the pocket off the midline. So perhaps Gibbs messed it up. I'm not sure. He looks a little unsure of himself coming through the line. Things kind of got rolling, however, a little bit on the 3rd possession for him. End zone angle, same play. So you can see what I mean. Quarterback clearly looking to have some type of mesh, or at least, be next to the running back, and Gibbs and him are going in opposite directions. Nice ball to Laporta, and you would expect him to catch that based on the film that you've seen of him, and unfortunately he's unable to bring it in. So turnover on downs on the 2nd possession. 3rd possession, though, gets him rolling in the backfield, end zone angle. You'll see him following the fullbacks. I really like the fullback for the Lions, Jason Cabinda. I think he's a Penn State guy. Really hard-nosed. Last year didn't have a single carry in the regular season. I think he had 1 catch. I do believe he had a catch in this game, but you can see, he's ready to go. He's ready to take on linebackers or safeties, and Gibbs is going to do the right thing and try to follow him. The backside inside linebacker gets involved, keeps it to, I think, a 4 or 5 yard gain. Again, this is the first play of the 3rd possession. It's a 1st and 10 from the -16, so I think it was a 5-yard gain. 2 plays later, a 3rd and 7. 3 plays later, a 3rd and 7, and Gibbs is in the backfield. This is Sam Laporta, another rookie who's being asked to block off the edge here. He's lined, and you'll get the all-22 of this in a moment. So he's basically helping to seal the edge for the quarterback. There's no route being run from the right-hand side of the screen. When you get the all-22, you'll see what I mean. Gibbs is going to slip out here. This is Laporta going to fall back and seal on this D-tackle. Gibbs slides out. Nice throw. Sneak it past the linebacker level. Gibbs gets 18 yards. Gives you a little bit of a taste of what he'll be able to do in impromptu situations where it's not planned. I think the design of the routes, when you get the all-22, you'll see it here in a moment, is not intended for Gibbs to get the football. But he makes himself available, Quarterback does a nice job. I know there's been a lot of criticism of him, rightfully so in some cases, don't get me wrong. But Gibbs is able to make himself available, and the quarterback's able to get the ball in his hands. Here's Laporta, same play, all 22 angle, and then there's Gibbs. You're going to see him slip out in between the offensive linemen. Nice play for 18 yards. Pick up the first down on the third possession. There was one other time during the game where I thought he was a little hesitant trying to get through in terms of, okay, am I going to have to block someone? Is someone going to show up? And then he tried to slide out. Maybe some would say he's a little hesitant here. I think he's just looking to do his job and then find the open space and get the conversion. Pretty cool play in that two rookies, Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, are the guys that are involved in converting that first down in terms of Laporta and pass pro. All right, a run concept, 1st and 10, very next play, by the way. Run concept, 8 yards, and you will get the end zone angle so you can see him kind of try to weave through the blocks here, the combo blocks. I think it's the left guard and the left tackle. I'll show you one more time from the All-22. I'll show you the end zone. You got combo here, and then one of them's going to move up to linebacker level. And watch how Gibbs tries to weave to the right of one of them, and then he tries to cut it back to the left of the other one. So you can see he trusts his blockers, number one. B, he sees what might be developing, and he appears to set up his blocks well. I don't really want to use the comparison here because some people aren't going to like it, but I see a little bit of Le'Veon Bell in him in terms of setting up his blocks on certain schemes. I'll let this one run 2 or 3 times. You guys can let me know what you think of that thought. You can see the combo by 67 and 69, and Gibbs is jutting to the inside of the first one, because 67 is taking over this D tackle, so he's going to go inside here. And then as this develops, 69 works up to the linebacker level. Gibbs is trying to bring this back to the left shoulder of 69. There's pursuit there. Things happen fast, and the guy actually gets off the block. But I think it's a nice example of him. Was talk, probably not from Lions fans, he's going to be an outside runner. He's going to be a guy that we can only use outside the tackle. This is an example, if you ask me, of him showing nice vision, staying square. Maybe some people would say I'd like him to run behind his pads a little bit more, but nice vision, staying square, nice cut ability, and trusting his guys, not being too quick to just slam through here in what is the B gap, bring it underneath A, and then try to cut it off of the tackle's block. I think it's a pretty cool play. Not the last play I was going to show you. My apologies. Last run, 1st and 10, same drive. This will be the last play that I show you. I wanted to get some quick film out on Jahmyr Gibbs. Interesting draft pick. Some people said controversial the night of the draft. After you see the film of him at Alabama for 1 year, it makes no sense to call it controversial at all. The guy is a super weapon. Almost reminds me of some of the old school Thurman Thomas type guys that would catch 60, 70 passes and run for 1,300 yards. He's going to split time with David Montgomery, and they got a very balanced offense there in Detroit. So he's probably not going to get a ton of touches, but he looks like a guy who 3 or 4 times during the course of the season can give you 14 carries for 95 yards and 6 catches for another 40 or 50 yards. Just a truly unique weapon, if you ask me, that the Lions really didn't have last year. And I mean no disrespect at all to DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. I'm a big fan of Jamal Williams, but this is a guy who brings a different level of threat, a different level of use, a different type of usage, I should say, and more options for the offensive coordinator and the offensive staff to deploy him in creative ways and put the defense in conflict. You guys let me know what you think of Jahmyr Gibbs in the limited film that I showed you, but it's not like he played, the whole first half, at least not to my knowledge. And if you think other Lions fans would enjoy this content, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.